What if you could hear every woman's thoughts without saying a word? That's exactly what happens to Nick Marshall, the charming but arrogant advertising executive at the center of this hilarious and heartfelt story. At first, he sees it as a gift. But what starts as a fantasy quickly turns his world upside down. Nick was raised in Las Vegas by a showgirl mother and grew up surrounded by glamorous women. Because of this, he believes he knows everything there is to know about women. Now a smooth-talking ad man, he has no trouble attracting attention, especially from women like Lola, a barista he flirts with regularly. Nick's professional life is just as polished. He's expecting a big promotion at his advertising firm, but things take a surprising turn. His boss informs him that the agency wants to focus on female consumers, now the biggest spenders in the market. Instead of Nick, the promotion goes to Darcy, a smart, confident woman hired to lead the creative direction. Nick is furious. He believes the position was his. Adding to his frustration, Nick is asked by his ex-wife, to take care of their teenage daughter, Alex, while she's on her honeymoon. Nick never had a strong relationship with Alex, and now he's expected to play the role of a responsible father, something he's never really done before. He's even more rattled when he finds out Alex has a boyfriend. Meanwhile, at work, Darcy gives the team a challenge. Each employee receives a box of women's products and must come up with creative pitches. Nick, determined to win back his status, takes the assignment home and starts experimenting, using the items while dancing to pop music. Just then, Alex walks in and sees her dad wearing a bra. She storms off, embarrassed and angry. Later that night, Nick keeps experimenting. As he plays with a hairdryer in the bathroom, he accidentally slips into the bathtub, electrocuting himself. The next morning, something strange happens. He begins hearing women's thoughts. At first, he thinks they're speaking out loud, but when his housekeeper reacts with shock, he realizes the truth. He's somehow gained the ability to hear what every woman around him is thinking. Overwhelmed, Nick tries to function at work, but is bombarded by unfiltered opinions, many of them brutally honest. He learns his co-workers find him egotistical, shallow, and even repulsive. One employee, Erin, is so depressed about her job she's contemplating suicide. His own secretary, Annie, despises him and spends most of her day calling her boyfriend on the company phone out of spite. Nick turns to a therapist who doesn't believe him until he starts answering the thoughts she hasn't spoken aloud. Stunned, she calls him the luckiest man alive. For the first time, Nick sees this curse as a superpower. He can finally understand what women really want. He begins using this power to his advantage. First, he charms his crush Lola by echoing her deepest desires. She agrees to go out with him. At work, he uses the ability to bond with his co-workers, giving Annie advice and supporting Erin, who's on the verge of giving up. And he slowly begins winning over Darcy by listening to her unspoken feelings and using them to make the perfect suggestions. But Nick's motives aren't pure. He secretly listens to Darcy's private thoughts about an upcoming project and steals her ideas, presenting them as his own to impress the team. Darcy is impressed and even starts falling for him. Nick's bond with Alex improves too, especially when he helps her prepare for prom and buys her the perfect dress. For the first time, he's acting like a real father. One night, Nick takes Lola home after their date, but in the bedroom, he fumbles and hears Lola thinking how bad he is at everything. He quickly adjusts based on her thoughts and turns the situation around, leaving her amazed. But Nick feels conflicted. He's not truly being himself. As he spends more time with Darcy, their connection deepens. He learns about her painful past and broken marriage. Eventually, they kiss. But Nick can't ignore the guilt growing inside him. He's fallen for her, but their entire relationship is based on deception. Later, Lola confronts Nick, hurt that he ghosted her after their night together. To let her down gently, he tells her he's gay. She's confused, but accepts it. The next day is the big presentation. Nick has Darcy's winning ideas, but guilt eats away at him. He offers the spotlight to Darcy, but she insists he present it, since he earned it. The pitch is a massive success and Nick gets all the credit. But when he learns that Darcy has been fired because the boss believes she didn't contribute, the victory feels hollow. Determined to set things right, Nick tells his boss the truth. The idea wasn't his, it was all Darcy's. At the same time, he realizes Erin didn't come to work. Fearing the worst, he rushes to her apartment through a rainstorm. A lightning strike hits a nearby pole, electrocuting him again. But this time, nothing happens. When he finds Erin safe, he realizes something else. He can no longer hear her thoughts. His power is gone. Later, Nick visits Darcy to tell her everything, but she isn't home, so he leaves a heartfelt voicemail. Just then, he gets a call from she. Alex is missing. Panicked, he rushes to the prom and finds Alex crying in the bathroom. Her boyfriend broke up with her. This time, Nick doesn't try to control the situation. He simply says, "I'm proud of you." For the first time, Alex calls him Dad and asks to go home. That night, Nick tucks Alex into bed lovingly. Then he returns to Darcy's house to confess everything. How he had the ability to hear women's thoughts, how he misused it, and how it helped him realize what really matters. He admits he stole her ideas and used them for his own gain, but he also tells her the truth about his feelings. "Because of that power, I fell in love with you." Darcy, deeply moved, forgives him. She smiles and says, "I like you too." And with that, they kiss, finally on equal footing, with nothing left unspoken.